Good evening and welcome to Current Issues. I'm your host, Hesham Tillawi. Welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, a busy night. We will be speaking with a gentleman named Leo Zagami, who was an Illuminati 33rd degree Mason, and he decided to split away from the organization. We will be speaking with him. He has a lot to say about it. You know, we've done some programs here with on Masonry, Freemasonry, and Illuminatis that supposedly, to tell you the truth, I mean, I've done a lot of studies on it. There's a lot of things on it out there, but the problem is a lot of people don't want to talk about it. A lot of people, they are probably thinking there's no such a thing. And, I haven't seen anyone who was in the organization, but this gentleman here, he said that he was a 33rd degree, and he has a lot to say about it. So we will hear from him, and we will know all about the Illuminatis and the Freemasonries and the secret societies and who rules who, etc., etc. And also, in the second hour, we will talk about what's going on now with Iran. Are we going to go to war with Iran, and why are we going to war with Iran? We will discuss that in the next hour, in the second hour. Now, I will discuss also one thing locally here. Normally, I don't get involved in local issues and local, but this one, it's even though it's a local issue, but it is more of a national issue at the same time. We have two people who write. One writes for the right and one writes for the left. If we're going to call Republicans right and Democrats left, Stephen and a guy named Don Bertrand. Now, I will talk about the latest article from Don Bertrand. I don't know the guy. We talk about this in the second hour. But for all of the locals who know who Don Bertrand is, I don't know the guy, but I will talk about his last article, not because it's so important, but because there's a lot of people who write in newspapers, probably thousands of people on local level, who write in newspapers, and because someone is writing in the newspaper, you might think what they are saying is true or probably correct. And that's where the danger comes when with people like this writing. Like I said, I have no problem. I don't even know the guy. That was the first time when I accidentally came across his article on the Daily Advertiser's website, and I decided, I printed it, so I'm going to go over it in the second hour, because it's extremely important to see how people are thinking out there. And but in the first hour, like I said, we will be speaking with Leo Zagami. But before we go to Leo, as most of you probably heard, there was an attack on the main United States Army base in Afghanistan, the Bujram Army base there, and it's the main one. You might think, okay, well, who's doing this? Well, it's the Taliban. And you might think, well, we went there and destroyed them in 2001, 2002. Well, apparently we killed a lot of people, but we did not destroy the Taliban. And now they are coming back. And I might add, they are coming back with a vengeance. They started their spring offensive a couple of days ago. And now they are, after they were on the run for the last 4 years, now they are coming back on the offense. And of course, we know what's happening in Iran with what we are doing or trying to do with Iran. We will talk about that in the second hour. There was an attack today, like I said, on the main army base in Afghanistan, where Dick Cheney was actually meeting with some of the military leaders there. So it looks like, I mean, it does not look too good for us in Afghanistan. And also there was another piece that is so important, which is some senior military commanders are prepared to resign if we attack Iran. If we attack Iran, there are some military commanders are prepared, senior military commanders, and this was from the Sun Time, which is the London Sun Time in London, and some people don't think what the president is doing is the right thing. Anyhow, do we have the guest on?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, Leo, great. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me on, so I can maybe unveil a few of the secrets I've been unwillingly participant in. For many years I was involved in this New World Order conspiracy, which I hope people will take a bit more seriously after what I will tell them tonight.
Now, Leo, let's start with the basics here so people can understand. I want to know now, and you're saying that you also related to the Queen of England?
Yes, my grandfather was Henry Lyon Young, who was the cousin of the Queen Mother, Elizabeth Bowes Lyon. So basically, I'm related, distant relation, but still a relation of the Queen of England.
Okay, so I guess I can consider you a prince or a royalty then.
Well, I'm more actually aristocratic with titles from my father's side, who has inherited the Sicilian title of Marquis di Gregorio, which is an aristocratic background that goes back almost 1,000 years, comes from Germany, originally from Cologne, and then was established with Frederick II Barbarossa in Sicily as tutors of the empire, of the emperor, who was at that time very powerful, and they stayed for many hundreds of years after in Sicily. And then my father was the first of a long line of Sicilian aristocrats to ever marry outside of Sicilian aristocracy into English aristocracy.
Okay.
So by this combination I was born.
Okay. Now, we have a lot to cover, and in order for us to do it, just keep your answers brief so we can cover as many subjects as we can. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I was sitting having dinner with a friend of mine who, when I mentioned there was a group of us, and I mentioned to them that I will have someone who was an Illuminati on the show, and we started talking about Freemasonry, and the guy said, wait a minute, you know, Freemasons, they're just good men who love each other and wants to help each other. You know, it is not this conspiracy stuff, and they want to control the world and secret societies and all this stuff. He said there's nothing secret about it. It's just a group of men who love each other, who just for being brothers in humanity, and they help each other. So tell me what Freemasonry is, and is my friend correct about it, that it's only a few people who want to help each other?
At the lower levels, it's a very innocent kind of club with people playing around with this fancy gear, aprons, these collars, these big medals, this wanting to be becoming. It's a bit of an arrivist, how you say, kind of club. On the lower level, there is a lot of people who innocently put themselves involved with this pyramid because they don't know what's happening on the levels above, which is from 30 to 33 degrees, who you can in America accede to other side orders who have then control over Freemasonry. And one of these orders is the Shriners, for example, which is very powerful in the United States and is directly under the control of Dick Cheney. Then you have, obviously, the Knights of Malta, who are the aristocracy of the Freemasonry. So the Knights of Malta are the ones who actually manipulate on orders of the Vatican the rest of the Freemasons in the lower ranks. In fact, you even have a degree, a side degree of the York Rite practiced in the United States dedicated to the Knights of Malta. And the Knights of Malta are then spiritually driven by the Jesuits, and the general of the Jesuits, Covenbach, who is in charge of this mission, which also involves the Zionist lobbies of families connected to also the aristocracy, like, for example, Rothschilds, and we have Rockefeller, who are both Knights of or the families, prominent members of Knights of Malta, and this makes them the bankiers of the Vatican. I was for many years involved in the P2 Lodge, the P2 Lodge, the Monte Carlo Lodge of the P2, which was the only surviving lodge after the scandal erupted 20 years ago. More than 20 years ago. I think you remember the scandal and what happened in Rome. If you are have a bit of knowledge of of what happened in those days in London. At one point, somebody ended up hanging off a bridge, and that guy was called Roberto Calvi. He was the banker of God, nicknamed the banker of God. But he was involved in this structure, this lodge, which is very particular because it's connected to the Mother Lodge Ecclesia, which is the Grand Lodge of Freemasons inside the Vatican, which consisted of 4 lodges. And then you have the connection directly with the Duke of Kent and the English throne and the Queen. So you have also the Queen of England in charge of the Knights of Malta for England, for example. Then you have the Russian Knights of Malta. But all these branches are part of a district web, a very intricate web. And at the lower ranks, the Freemasons in the lower levels, I mean, they get to witness until the 3rd degree pretty much nothing. They become Master Masons. Most of them, if they follow after the 3rd degree, they do it quite unwillingly. They do it because they want to get to know other people, maybe some business deals. They're not really interested in the esoteric side. The people who are interested in the esoteric side join societies like, for example, the Martinists. The Martinists recruit within Freemasonry, within the Scottish Rite, the people who then will talk with the Jesuits, will be the connection between this link, which is a holy link, which is also described in one of the frontispiece of the publications of Johann Valentin Andre, who was the father of Rosicrucianism. Rosicrucianism is a current that connects secretly the Vatican with the Protestant realm.
Okay, so
I'm giving you here more or less a wide description of the whole thing, but the Freemason in the lower degree doesn't, if he's not reckoned as suitable for what comes after, he will never see what's after. He will just forever mingle in those lower degrees, in those lower levels of the pyramid, where things are kept quite innocent and where there is some great charity donations every now and then to keep people happy, and where everything seems very innocent. I was initiated in 1993 by Prince Aliata di Monreale into a particular form of Freemasonry for the aristocracy. Then I regularized my position years later under the Grand Lodge, United Grand Lodge of England, with Julian Rees as my mentor. Julian Rees, who is considered one of the most important Freemasons in England. And I also participated at the Canonbury Masonic Research Center to the conference in 2004 dedicated to many religions and one brotherhood, which was a key conference in this crusade against the real believers.
Okay.
Because
Leo,
these people we can define as crusaders. That's what they are.
So Leo, let me see. Okay, why are we to worry about Illuminatis? And now, what's an Illuminati?
Okay, an Illuminati is not only the order founded by Adam Weishaupt in 1776. That's one of the openly, let's say, an open showing something in the open, because there is higher levels that never show themselves even as much. Weishaupt was himself a puppet under the puppet masters that were controlling him, the invisible college of the Rosy Cross. And Adam Weishaupt created under order of the Jesuits also the order of the Illuminati, which after became involved with some prominent lodges that were born later on with a charter given by that was obviously coming from Germany, the Skull and Bones, the famous lodge, the infamous lodge, which is based in Yale University. But we have many Illuminati, because Illuminati is all the high degrees of Freemasonry practice various kinds of rites, and in these various kinds of rites they have all sorts of Illuminati specialized in different levels of the pyramid. The higher levels come after the 33 degree, when you get initiated into the rite of Memphis and Mizraim, into the rites of Memphis and Mizraim. They can also be separate.
Okay.
Actually,
so
this.
Okay, just so we can move on. Now, you were 33rd degree. How high in that hierarchy scale were you?
I was not only 33rd, but I was also a 90 and 95 of the Memphis and Mizraim. So I also went above the regular degrees that bring you to the knowledge.
Okay.
To the
so now who
the
are the people up there in those high? Can you give us some names of the people who are in that hierarchy up there?
Okay, for example, I was working under direct orders of Comandante Giorgio Ugo Balestrieri. Comandante Giorgio Ugo Balestrieri is an ex-P2 member that is a current director of the Rotary Club in New York. He is a senior member in charge of the Order of the Sons of Italo-Americans. And these people are the people behind 9/11. These are the Gladio infidels that brought down the Twin Towers. These are the people they should lock up, not the people in Guantanamo. Because the people who have brainwashed the innocent. Sorry?
How are these people? Are you saying that these people are higher than governments? Are they the government behind the government? Is that what is that?
That is the government behind the government, which is in the hands of the Vatican. He is the new world order of the Knights of Malta, of the Gladio, of the operations like Gladio, that from state behind operations against the communists, which was just obviously a theater, became now a whole another theater with this Islamic fundamentalist puppet show that goes on since the end of the 70s, since 1979, when Jimmy Carter started with the show in Afghanistan. But this is, at the end of the day, the work of the devil, which is in the Vatican. In the Vatican, the Jesuit general himself gives the orders to the Pope, who is himself a very questionable guy, because he himself is an homosexual, was a 24-year-old gay lover, and he himself is the biggest infidel you can have in the world.
Who's
and
that?
He's sitting inside the throne of Peter.
Who is that?
That's Joseph Ratzinger. That's the Pope, Benedict, who was a gay lover and is sitting in the throne of Peter in Rome. This is the guy you should look after, because he's the guy who has begun this crusade to the Middle East. And he is the guy behind the Zionists, because he is the one who is giving the orders to the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. Because the biggest cash and the biggest money is in the Vatican Bank. And this was why the P2 scandal took enormous proportions when it erupted 25 years ago.
Okay, so why should the average person out there be worried? Why should we be worried about what these people do?
Because these people are using psychological operations, like, for example, MK Ultra has been an experiment of the government. It went on, and instead of using drugs, they use religious fundamentalism and a way of brainwashing innocent people that find themselves puppets of these vicious games. The most fundamentalist text came out of the United States CIA bases at the end of the 70s, when they went and they spread in the Middle East and elsewhere. Those texts were written in the USA, and they were written under the orders of the Vatican, under the orders of the Jesuits. And we are here now in this moment of time having to defend ourselves against the enemy within, because this enemy is the enemy that has brought down 9/11, has brought down the Twin Towers, has made a show out of something, and has also insulted personally my religion, which is the religion of Islam, which I believe in.
Okay, so now tell me, you used to be also involved with the Vatican too. So you were on the inside with in the Vatican?
Yes, I started when I was 10 years old working with little radio shows for kids. At 13, I started with radio created by Monsignor Mario Pieracci, who is one of the people who has founded the Satellite 2000 Corporation, the Vatican Satellite Broadcasting Corporation. Which is very popular. He was one of the founders. I started with him. I started within the radio environment, the media, and then after I went on becoming a record producer, but everything had to be for brainwashing the people. I was working in the name of propaganda. Propaganda was also the name of my lodge, the lodge I entered after I was initiated in 1993.
Okay, so now you did mention that in those meetings at the lodge there was some rituals, and you sent me a picture of a mask, as a matter of fact. What's behind the mask, and tell me about the rituals that you used to have in those Illuminati meetings.
Okay, that mask particularly is a gift of a senior Illuminati from Russia, Senator Sergei Gordiev. It was an original mask that was used within the rituals that were presented to Nikolai II because they wanted to convert him, and he was actually a messenger of the 13th Dalai Lama who brought that mask, which is a mask which is used to see the future, basically in a state of trance. I have to say that this mask is being given to me by the Russian Illuminati because they were very scared of his power. So I became entrusted with the power of this mask, which I took when I went for my special, I did a special event in Russia, in Moscow, for the Illuminati in February 2002, the Bolshoi. It was $1,000 a ticket, and it was a party that we organized for the children's victims of terrorism, but this was done before Beslan.
Okay, so now what is, so you said they worship Lucifer and they worship Satan.
Yes, in specific lodges. Yes, in specific lodges of the Ordo Templi Orientis. Ordo Templi Orientis created by people like Theodor Reus of the German intelligence, close to the Illuminati from Bavaria, and creator of another branch of the Illuminati from Bavaria. Well, these lodges are very specific. The Ordo Templi Orientis, you can go and find on the internet, is a very big network of Satanists worldwide that believes in the teachings of Aleister Crowley, who is defining himself as the Beast 666. And in these lodges they evoke Baphomet, they evoke the image of Lucifer, they use ancient Egyptian texts because they invoke the original entities, Horus, Isis, Osiris. They are into pagan worship, really, because Satanism goes through paganism, and they are worshipping genies, basically, the demons inside these lodges. They are also getting people inside these triangles to get possessed by demons.
Okay. Now,
or if
we
they get
hear
inside
that, George Bush is an Illuminati, John Kerry. We even hear about, like, the leaders in the world, even the ones we know, and even some of the Arab and Muslim leaders, that they are with Freemasons. Is that true?
Yeah, because the problem is this. Freemason is made in a way that makes everybody happy, so it adapts. So, for example, if it goes in a country where it offends something, then it changes its ritual to not offend that thing. Rituals in Freemasonry, for example, have been changed in the United States in the last 200 years, just to make the higher degrees available to the Jews, Zionists, who wanted to take control over the higher degrees. But unfortunately, the higher degrees originally were Christian, so the degrees were then changed. For example, Freemasonry in Scandinavia is an elitarian Christian Nazi kind of situation, where if you're not Christian, you can't join. And that is against the universality of Freemasonry worldwide. But still, in Scandinavia, you can't join if you're not a Christian. So Freemasonry adapts, and in the Muslim world, it has taken its own shape. In the Turkish Ottoman Empire, it was totally independent and in the hands of Sufis, and that's why it was linked to the Sufi, and it was considered to be a sort of Sufi order. But that was the original Ottoman Empire Freemasonry, which has nothing to do with the English and the French, which after went there in the Middle East and obviously fought against the Turkish Ottoman and brought down the empire with Ataturk, who was initiated in Italy and who was an agent of the Illuminati and of Satan.
Okay. Now, what's the deal with the Illuminatis or the Freemasons want to build Solomon's Temple in Jerusalem?
What they want to do for lodges like the Corte Coronati 2076, which is the key lodge of research in London, in the United Genealogy of England, with people like Robert Gilbert and people like Michael Bagent, who we see is very popular as a writer these days, is to bring back the Temple of Solomon in its original place. So to bring down the Al-Aqsa Mosque and to bring down, but at the same time, they are bringing it down spiritually, because they are celebrating in the underground, and in this, there is tunnels that were the old tunnels of the Temple of Solomon, used by the Knights Templars. And still nowadays they're celebrating satanic masses. And I can tell you even the names of the participants if you want.
Okay.
You want to hear them?
Yes.
So,
yes.
They're celebrated by the high priestess of Melchizedek.
We have some people waiting to speak with you. We go on with Ramsey on 2. Go ahead, Ramsey.
Hello?
Ramsey, can you hear me? Yes, go ahead, Ramsey.
Hello?
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'll tell you what, I'm glad you called, because I thought we missed you when we when we changed the time. So I'm glad you're back. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, sir. Because the timing has been not good for me, so I haven't called. Yes, I just want to say something, sir. So you've documented on your show a number of times about the buildings falling down because the bombs were in the building and it fell in 10 seconds. And
right.
So I don't think the Illuminati is the one that put the explosives in the building. I think it was the government. And so I don't think the Illuminati is involved with the Vatican, because the Vatican, sir, is anti-Zionist. The only Christians who support the Zionists are the Christian evangelical people.
Okay, very good. Stay with me, Ramsey. Leo, he's correct.
Yes,
how did the Illuminatis put these explosives in the buildings? But most importantly, everybody knows the Vatican is anti-Zionist. So how could they be in bed with the Zionists?
Because secretly, this happens for a long time now, because since the Rothschilds have become the Vatican bankers a long time ago, they have been in bed with the Zionists for a long time, my friend. And especially after what happened in the Second World War, any sort of conflict that was going on between the Jesuits and the Zionists ceased. And the moment they obtained what they wanted, which was the State of Israel. This was a plan that was clearly put together by the Zionists and the Jesuits together, because you see, they are the spiritual controllers of the New World Order, the rabbis who have the technology. This technology is in the Kabbalah. This technology is the same technology that is used also by the Sufis. It's the same technology that is used by everybody that has knowledge of the metaphysics at high level. And this knowledge is secret knowledge made out of symbols that control the masses of sheep below. If you want to be part of it, there's no problem. Just be part of it. Continue to be part of it. You are losing, not me. I just want to make a warning, because I came out of it, and I don't know for how long they're going to make me speak. because they have already tried in the past to arrest me and to torture me, not to talk about what I was doing in the Illuminati. I was working with intelligence operations to do with mind control that involved millions of people, propaganda at the highest level. We used to import drugs by the tons, and this was done to influence the mind of young people and to totally bend them to the New World Order. So if you want to continue with that, no problem, continue.
Okay. Ramsey?
Well, sir, according to my knowledge and history, sir, the Jews in Israel were staunchly anti-Catholic, towards the Vatican, because they claimed that because number one, they don't believe in the Bible the way the Vatican presented.
This is not about Bibles, about Torah, about Quran. This is about cash. Cash rules. Cash is king. That's what counts.
Okay.
The rest,
okay.
is bollocks.
Ramsey, your message is well taken. Thank you. Leo, are you saying that this has nothing to do with the Bible? It has nothing to do. So is like the Bible just for the people, but the leadership is on a different level?
Absolutely. That's why the Illuminati exists, and that's why the people continue below to not. Recently, for example, there's been a film that has come out in the United States by Robert De Niro, and it shows the birth of the CIA within the Skull and Bones Society. I don't know why people still have to say it's the government that controls, not the Illuminati. The Illuminati are the people with the cash, are the Warburgs, are the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the people with the cash that counts.
Okay.
The rest is literally nothing, because they want a war. They are making money over the war. They sell weapons, these people. And if you continue to do what you do, you want to just help them continue with establishing the New World Order until they microchip you, and the moment they microchip you, forget it.
Okay, Leo.
You are in the hands of the beast.
Okay, these people, the Illuminatis, the Freemasonries, they have been there for a long, long time, probably for thousands of years. George Washington was a Freemason. And so, people may not, a lot of people don't even want to talk about this subject. And I'll tell you what, when I sent the email out and people knew that what we're going to talk about tonight, David Irving, the noted historian, he sent me an email saying that this is junk. And also some other emails from somebody else said...
Well, I want to test anybody that says it's junk, and I will test him like this. Just go on Google and put Giorgio Ugo Balestrieri, Comandante, and you're going to see list of P2 members. Put list of P2 members. Then put Rotary Club New York, headquarters of the international divisions. Inside the United Nations, there is a Rotary Club. And who is directing it? Comandante Giorgio Ugo Balestrieri, under the orders of Cossiga, under the orders of Covenbach. Wake up, world, because the people who are giving the standing orders are very hidden, and you are not capable of reacting, because the amount of junk you are listening every day through the media conditions you in a way which has never happened before in the history of humankind. People are completely on the wrong direction.
Okay. Why, if these people have been out there for thousands of years, why should we worry about them? Because they've been running the world for the last, I don't know how long have they been out there? And when you answer that, tell me, why should we worry about them now when they have been running the world all these times?
Because the Federal Reserve, who is in their hands, in the hands of these families, is about to explode in nothingness. Because America is about to fall. They're investing in China, India, Russia. America is about to crash. The Middle East is a show. They want to make some cash before they crash the whole system. And the whole system is going to come down because America is doing something against God, but also against the system of God. And that's why they're going to be punished, and very heavily.
Okay, who wants to crash America?
The people who want to crash America, the Skull and Bones, the Knights of Malta, the Illuminati, call them however you want to call them. Freemasons are their slaves. Opus Dei are their slaves. The Jesuits are the spiritual controllers. The families with the cash, the Zionists, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the usual families, the old families with the cash, the old families with connections to the aristocracy, which is still also a driving force of this empire. So you have to see people like Queen Elizabeth, who is sending Prince Harry to fight the war in Iraq. That is scum to my eyes.
Okay,
that
now
guy,
let's move into a different area. Now, you used to be a lot of things before, and one of them, you used to be a Catholic, and then in 2006 you became a Muslim and you took on the name Khalid. How did that happen?
actually, it's not totally correct that I became Muslim in June 2006. In June 2006, I broke all my ties with the Vatican.
Oh, okay.
Because I became a Muslim already in November 2003. I converted and went back to Europe from Egypt, which I had been honored to be a guest for 1 month.
Okay, so let me.
Of the
Okay, so
family.
if you converted in 2003 and you broke ranks with the Illuminatis in 2006, then you were a Muslim Illuminati for 3 years?
And that was the big problem that was creating for me and my family, because unfortunately my family, at least my original family, is not Muslim, is Catholic, and they have been Catholic for 1,000 years and more. So obviously this considered by some a problem, but at the same time you have to understand that my family, the Gregorio family, if you go and study in the books, has been in charge of the Knights of Malta in Sicily for many hundreds of years. So I have been part of their hierarchy naturally, by being born inside, because you have to understand that Freemasonry is an object under the knighthoods. The knighthoods are standing there for the chivalry which comes from the aristocracy, and so it's the aristocracy in control of the whole pyramid. That is the occult power of the pyramid, the aristocracy. That has been ruling the world since immemorable time, and we know that, obviously. But why now, you were asking before, why now the whole thing should come down?
Yes.
Because the resources are finishing, and there is trouble on top. And I came out of it when I saw that the people on top were not capable of any solutions for what is coming up.
Okay, so now tell me about you converting to Islam. Why?
Yes.
What did you see in
I converted to Islam because I met with the Dr. Safwat. Dr. Safwat is a very particular guy. He works for the Boutros Ghali family. He is the director of the Esoteric Center in New York, with a 104-year-old big guy behind him. And Dr. Safwat is the guy who has exorcised the United Nations building. And through him, I went first in Egypt to study the real nature of Jesus. I wanted to understand really who Jesus was. Jesus, I discovered him to be a man, a prophet, but not a god. I discovered the great lie of the Council of Nicaea was the biggest lie in history. So I thought from that time onwards, I want to become Muslim. And I also was following the teachings of Said Nursi. I started following at that time the teaching of Said Nursi, which was a special guy in the context of Islam, Anatolian Islam, which is about dialogue and interreligious understanding. It is not about fundamentalism and ignorance. I also have a wife who is a Sufi student, comes from a specific family. She's a Tur Said, and she herself has taught me to understand more the real nature of Islam. I have come to understand that at the end of the day, Islam was incompatible with the Illuminati after 3 years of fighting it. I was arrested 3 times in the meantime, and because I attempted to rebel, but every time they were arresting and then offering me other things, other possibilities, other degrees, other villas, other whatever I wanted. Our Monte Carlo connection, which is Ezio Junquilla, who is one of the big bosses behind the Rockefellers banking. And Ezio Junquilla was in charge with Marcinkus of the P2 banking. So you can imagine what kind of people I was working with. We are talking here about the people on the top level of the Vatican establishment, which is driven by the Jesuits.
So are you in hiding now? Are you afraid for your life?
A lot of people ask me if I'm afraid for my life, but in the last few months, my dear friend, I've been able to come out and tell all my story with the support of my family and the support of the family of my wife, And thanks God, apart from one attempt, they came here, the police came, they shut down my website at the beginning of December, my old website. My new website is illuminaticonfessions.webfriend.it, and it's open now. But the previous one, at squarespace.com, was closed down after the Illuminati basically closed it down. And at the same time, the day after, the police came to my door. They threatened me to take my children. They threatened me, they threatened my wife, and the police did this. But soon after, immediately after, the day after, I went onto the radio, went to the newspapers, I went to the alternative media, and I said what was happening to me. And people were very kind. With the help of some very good people, I managed to set back the website in a record time. Since then also they have backed off from me, because I have demonstrated that I'm not taking anything from them, and I'm not taking the threats. So if they come to my house and say they're gonna take my children, yeah, pass on my body before, because I'm gonna kill anybody that attempts next time to come here and makes such claims. I want the website to be shut down because it's offensive to certain people who are powerful. Who cares if it's offensive to certain people who are powerful? They get the shit for what they're working with. That's it. They have been sinning against
you
God.
are working on you're working on like a tour and speeches in the United States. You trying to arrange some of that?
Yes, we are trying. It's not easy, because finding people that are willing to put speeches with such a delicate subject. You have noticed yourself today that already putting a TV show and talking about these issues is difficult. But we are trying, with Greg Zismansky, we are putting together the Tour of Hope, and also, most important, we have already formed 4 committees of hope, one in Winnipeg in Canada, one in Baktong, Indonesia, one in London, and one in Oslo. And these committees of hope are about people meeting together from different religions, different walks of life, against the New World Order, and finally starting to realize that once we're going to be microchipped, you can't go back. That's it. The New World Order will have full control over you.
Okay.
And you will be the slave of this occult system.
Leo, some people sent me emails saying that this guy is lying and all he's trying to do is make some money. How would you answer them? That all this is lies?
There is no money.
He just wants to make money.
Where is the money? I have my job, my friend. I have a job with my wife. I'm the managing director of a company. I sell designer radiators. I have my own job, thank God, alhamdulillah. And I don't need to make money on anything else. I come from a family that doesn't have problems. Well, they can't bring us in poverty. The Illuminati are part of us, because we are one of their families. Me and my family, the family of my wife, we are families, very particular families, because like she is a Said, I represent for what Said represents in the Middle East, what a Said is in Europe, because I'm directly a cousin of the Queen of England.
So you're rich? Is that what you're saying? You don't need the money?
I don't need the money.
Okay. That's okay. We'll leave it at that. I'll tell you what, we're going to go to New York with Judy. Go ahead, Judy.
Yes.
Sorry?
Yeah, we have a call from New York with Judy. Go ahead, Judy.
Yes, the people who are denying the connection between the Vatican and the Zionists don't seem to be aware of the fact that Henry Kissinger is the papal advisor. And I want to thank you for having this show, Dr. Tillawi, because I think that this takes courage, because a lot of people want to have, they don't want to see this connection. People are very, very hung up on their belief system.
Judy, okay. What is the connection? I mean, so what if the Pope is using Henry Kissinger as an advisor?
You know Henry was
Kissinger
a member of the Monte Carlo Lodge.
Hold on, let me. Okay, go ahead, Leo.
Henry Kissinger was a member of the Monte Carlo. He's a member of the Monte Carlo Lodge. He's one of the most influential people within the Vatican headquarters. But because he's a Zionist, and Zionists are very powerful, there is this link, and thank God somebody is recognizing it.
Yeah, I mean, so are you saying that the Vatican and the Zionists are working together? I mean, Leo, hold on a second. What do you think, Judy?
Definitely they are. Definitely.
Just because they hired Henry Kissinger as an advisor?
Leo already said about the Rothschilds are the bankers for the Vatican. You know, we have to realize that this is a very diabolical scheme. And what you see out front is not necessarily who's pulling the strings.
So are you
be open to investigate all these things and not just rule this out of hand because it doesn't fit with the popular paradigm.
Okay, now, Judy and Leo, I mean, if we say that the Vatican is working with the Zionists, that to me is trying to get the Jewish factor out of the formula. Is that what we're trying to do here, Judy?
Call them the older brothers. Didn't you call them the older brothers?
Jew, to me, is as illiterate about this as the rank-and-file Freemason, the rank-and-file Catholic. I think when you get to the level, like Leo was saying before, the exoteric level of religion, you have some good-hearted people that are probably being brainwashed to death. But when you get behind the scenes, that's where all these people start to come together in their little clique, and they are the ones who are manipulating the sheep. And we are the sheep, unfortunately. And Leo is right. We're heading towards an Orwellian police state. We're heading towards being microchipped while we all fight amongst each other because these people know how to get us at each other's throats.
Thank you, Judy. Okay, Leo.
Yes.
Yes. Now, Judy raised a point, which is, you spoke about it, that, look at the Vatican for what's evil in the world. But I mean, a lot of people are not going to see it that way. Before we used to say it's a Jewish conspiracy. Now, are we saying it's a Catholic conspiracy?
Isn't it a crusade? Listen, my friend, if you're Muslim, crusaders have been coming to the Middle East for a long time. Crusaders worked for the Pope.
But that was a long time ago, and I don't see too many Catholics in power. Most of the power positions that we even have right here in the United States, they're Protestants. They're not even Catholics.
They don't need it. They have completely under control the Protestants. Now all the Protestant bishops want to come under Rome.
Well, why don't they put some Catholics in instead of putting Protestants then?
Because they are controlling all. They don't need to show off 100 different Catholic leaders when they have the key ones that sit in the chairs of power. You don't need many people. You need only the people who are the director of the CIA, and he's usually a knight from Malta. You only need the Minister of Defense, or whatever. I mean, you need key people. You don't need many people. That is where sometimes people think that everything is controlled. They don't understand. There is not only the Zionist conspiracy. The Zionists have a deal with the European aristocracy. The Jews have been working at high level, the Zionist Jews, for many centuries with the aristocracy of Europe. They're both corrupt. I was one of them. I'm warning you. These people are working to bring down the world because they now know that there's not much time left before the fall of this economy. In 2010...
Now tell me, what about, where does the Holocaust fits in here?
The Holocaust was made so they could obtain the state of Israel. As simple as that. And this has been a maneuver that has been done in a very clever way. Initially, Rudolf von Bottendorf went to Turkey from Germany. He became Baron Rudolf von Bottendorf. Then he became the head of the Thule Gesellschaft. And the Thule Gesellschaft was the
Leo, if you can't hear me, we have a problem here in the studio. If you can't hear me, just hold on. We're going to go to break, and when we come back, we only have like about 8 minutes left, but I can't hear you, so...
Hello, you can hear me?
A second.
Hello? Hello? I can't hear you. Hello? Hello? Hello?
In all of this. Are you there? Are you there? Guys, I lost him. I can't hear him.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'll tell you what, we have some people waiting on the phone. I asked you a question, about the Holocaust and all of this, but let's not go there. I'm going with Rick. Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah.
Hello?
Okay, Dr. Tillawi.
Yes, Freedom, go ahead.
I would like to ask Mr. Leo a question, please.
Yes, sure, very quick.
Could he explain the connection of George Bush and John Kerry's connection to the Skull and Bones with the Illuminati? Because I know that George Bush is a distant relative of the Queen of England.
Yes.
So could you please explain what...
The connection was made in the 1820s when the charter was given by a German representative of Adam Weishaupt.
Leo, hold on a second. Leo, hold on.
In Yale University.
Okay, go ahead, Leo. What's the connection between John Kerry, George Bush, and the Skull and Bones and the Illuminatis?
Yes, that's the connection, because the Skull and Bones is a creation of the Illuminati. It works under an official charter that was released by a German Illuminati lodge.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
So basically, the connection is that they have been both initiated, selected as the 15, every year they have 15 members they select. But these two are very particular members, because within the Skull and Bones you have the Order of Death, and they have a specific cult, which is the cult of Orcus. Orcus is a very ancient Etruscan cult to do with the sacrifice of kids, of little babies. And this is what they do. Only 5 people out of the 15 that are chosen are brought to the Order of Death, and that's what they do in the Order of Death.
Okay, tell you what, we're going back to the phones with Rick. Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, Doctor, why is it all the Jews that I hear that say they're not part of this Zionist conspiracy, they're always blaming things on Catholics? And I'd like to know, was it Catholics that were shipped out of the USA and the Israeli spy ring? Was it Catholics that get caught spying on the United States all the time? Did they bomb the USS Liberty or be involved in the Lavon affair, or are they the bankers? I mean, let's get real here. This is pitiful. Catholics are not the people we're looking for.
Okay.
It's a joint effort between the Zionists and the Catholics. They're all part of the New World Order. Don't you see
Leo,
the
hold
New
on a
World
second.
Order every day in
Leo,
front
hold
of
on.
your eyes?
Leo, hold on a second. Hold on. Go ahead,
Yes.
Rick.
Well, I mean, we can see. I mean, here we are. These people are saying that they're not the Zionists, but they're attacking the people that are the most anti-Zionist people on the earth.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Rick. Rick, Leo, very quickly, but I also want you to tell me, did the Illuminati had anything to do with the Holocaust?
Obviously, because the grandfather of George Bush was involved in it, and was involved in the financing of the Nazism. And these finances came from the Skull and Bones, from people within the Skull and Bones establishment. But they also came, obviously, from the Zionists. They work together, these different parts. It's a complicated puzzle made of secret societies. There is certain secret societies connected to the Zionists, certain others connected to the Jesuits, and certain others connected to the Knights of Malta, which are usually of Masonic origin.
I'll tell you what, we're going to have to leave it there because we're completely out of time. I just wanted to say thank you for coming on the program, and definitely it has been an interesting night.
Thank you. Bye. God bless America.
Thank you. Well, God bless America, and we will be back, ladies and gentlemen, in 5 minutes. It's going to be an exciting next hour, you and I, and we will see if we can solve the problems in the world. We'll see you then.